Renuka. How you doing?
Hi, I'm good, Elisa. How are you?
I'm doing great. Channelingspiritworld.com is the way to get in touch with Miss Renuka. And we have Erik here, right?
Yes,
I
he's
don't think
correct.
he will leave you at alert. He wouldn't leave you at the altar, so to speak.
Never, never. He's always there present before me.
Hi, sweetie. I love you.
Hi, Mom.
So,
And again, yes,
Professor Erik.
again, we are in the classroom. So, yes, I am your professor today. And he's saying, I know these lectures are getting monotonous with the karmic theme, with everything that we talk about karma. And I know viewers are enjoying it, but today I'd like to bring in some freshness, some fresh topic, which will help the viewers to answer still more important questions about our soul plan. And he's written on the board already. He said today we'll be talking about this. How much of our earthly life is planned? Because whenever he says, whenever we have discussed about soul plan, whenever we discuss about free will, destiny, and karma, there is so much
Yeah.
confusion because people tend to confuse the concepts between destiny and free will. Also, people also get confused that how do we know how much of it is planned and how much of it we chose or we didn't choose. So you think it's important we shed some light on this so that there is more understanding of how our lives come to us.
Yeah,
So
it's like I look at my life sometimes and I didn't plan on this yet. No way, no, it's impossible. But anyway, yes, that's very fascinating. So let's go for it.
yeah, he's saying yes, mom. Same thing. There are most of us, we just can't fathom how can we choose this kind of life, um, which breaks us from inside. So many things happen, and we go through them, and we just cannot fathom, how we reached this point. How come we have chosen all of this? And this is when people tend to disagree or not believe in the channeled information because there are things which are not explained in the new age spiritual community completely and clearly, where
Yeah.
all the levels and all the aspects are explained properly so that people resonate with them, they touch their soul. If it does not resonate with your soul, you just feel lost. And then there is so much information out there on the internet. It's so easy to get lost and confused in all of these
Yeah.
definitions and these paradigms
Yeah.
which don't serve any purpose if they are not understood in totality. So he's saying, first off, let me say that most of our life is planned. The major relationships are planned, major interactions, he's saying, and then he's saying major events, even the places we are meant to live in, the countries, the places, even the places within those countries, they are planned
Yeah.
because every part of mother earth, every part of land, it has a specific vibration and frequency.
Oh,
Every culture has a particular trademark, so to say, which
yeah.
will help your soul learn the
Like
lessons your
spiritual
soul.
fingerprints almost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So all of these have to be planned because he's saying, Mom, every time you feel confused about your life, why something is happening, why is it happening right now, how is it happening, just go back to your reality and imagine you're a soul in the spirit world and you're sitting and planning your life. Look at it from a bird's eye view. Try and feel as if you're a soul and you're planning your own lifetime and go back to that state and understand why you must have chosen this place to live, why you must have chosen this culture, this household, this family, and everything will fall into peace. It has to fall into peace because you decided it. Somewhere it's still hidden and suppressed in your consciousness,
Right.
even though we have spiritual amnesia, but it's your soul who planned it, right? So
Yeah.
spiritual amnesia has suppressed it, has obscured it, but it's still you who has planned it, and you can still go to those, the depths of your
Yeah.
soul.
All right, Erik, let me ask you a question. There's some people that have just like a fascination for a particular culture, like my one of my kids has always been since he was little fascinated with Egypt and watched the mummies, the
Oh,
mummy
it's
movies a
so,
million times.
it's so
But then on
coincident.
up, huh?
It's such a coincidence. I'm going to travel to Egypt in November, so it's a huge coincidence. I can understand the culture fascination. Yeah.
Yeah,
He's saying, Mom, what has happened is when you reincarnate in a body, there are certain past lifetimes which are influencing that current lifetime. Now, these lifetimes, these specific, means saying, I'm not saying just one past lifetime. There are a
Yeah.
mixture, a number of past lifetimes which tend to influence your current lifetime.
Okay.
Now, the impressions which you gathered, now impressions are a different story altogether. The impressions are, things and feelings you gather which are very strong while you're going through those lifetimes. So
Okay.
if in a particular lifetime you were born in Egypt and your life was, say, extreme, your experiences, your interactions were very extreme, these create strong impressions in your mental consciousness.
Oh, I see.
No, when the soul leaves the body, of course, it's not taking the mental consciousness, it's just the energy, the consciousness. But again, when the soul takes the body, all in its mental consciousness, which it had accumulated in the past lifetimes, it gets activated again.
Okay.
Now, if in a particular lifetime I'm being influenced by 2 or 3 lifetimes, and if one of those lifetimes was from Egypt, all the strong impressions will get activated even though if I'm in India. And I'll feel very much pulled towards that land, towards that culture, towards the paintings and the photographs of whatever references will come in front of me while living this lifetime. So he says these impressions, they stay in your mental consciousness, and because these are the impressions which have somewhere led to the lessons and karma of this present lifetime, they get activated and you feel pulled towards them because you have lived that lifetime somewhere.
Yeah.
He's saying now we have lived thousands of past lifetimes, but in any given particular current lifetime, there are only as many lifetimes which are influencing it. And again, all of these lifetimes are not influencing together. It happens in a very phased manner.
Mm. Well, let me ask you this. I, for example, have I love traveling. Well, I don't get time to do it as much anymore, but I have no desire to go to Japan. I don't have anything against Japan, but it's like I just no, I'm never going to go there. Not interested. What's that all about?
Yeah. He's saying, let's just say, mom, whatever kind of suffering or the so called pain that you have gone through in this lifetime is very much similar to the kind of pain and suffering you went through while you were in Japan.
Oh, okay.
And and that kind of pain and suffering is activated because it's similar, and somewhere your soul remembers that you had to go through this certain painful experiences when you were in Japan also, and you will start resisting it. You will not only resist the country per se, the culture, the people, the language, you'll resist everything because it stimulates and triggers that memory which is not so pleasant.
Okay. Or could it also be that I just have never had a life there, so it doesn't interest me? Or
No,
usually not.
you wouldn't think about it. There are so many
Okay.
countries, you wouldn't think
Well,
about it
yeah,
at
that's
all.
true. That's
If
true.
you're
That makes sense.
resisting it, there has to be something which your soul does not like to revisit. And if you're feeling pulled, you have you have led a great lifetime, and your soul remembers that impression which was created in that lifetime and wants
Okay.
to
Makes
re-experience
sense.
that impression. That's why you feel pulled, because you want to experience it again because it was a pleasant experience.
Right. Makes sense. Okay.
And he says, Mom, also, when you feel pulled to such places in a pleasant way, I am saying, I recommend going and visiting those places because, those impressions, and we call those impressions in Sanskrit, in India, we call them sanskaras.
Oh, yes. I've
Sanskaras,
heard that. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
These are the impressions which a soul accumulates and stores in its consciousness, in its energy, while living through different experiences of a particular lifetime. And he's saying, Mom, we earn these impressions, these sanskaras, while we are living a life, while we are going through our journey where we are learning and growing as a soul. So these are the side effects where you accumulate this. These are memories which stay with you.
Okay.
Now you go through so much, but only those events and memories or experiences which make you make you feel intensely, positive or negative, but which made you feel intensely, they will stay with your soul.
Okay.
And if that lifetime is influencing this one, they'll get activated, they'll get triggered at given points of time. And if you feel pulled, going there will only help your soul be at peace, will remove and will help you spend those sanskaras, because you're again experiencing it and releasing those sanskaras.
Oh,
So
you're releasing them. Okay, yeah. Huh.
if
Okay.
it's a positive pull, if it's a positive pull, do follow it. If it's not so positive, you should still follow it, but you should be very aware that those kind of not so pleasant sanskaras will get activated, and it will be a little bit difficult to spend them.
Yeah.
But what is important is that you have earned those impressions, those sanskaras in this physical world, and it's important the soul spends those impressions and sanskaras in this physical world only, because they were created here.
Okay,
And
get
that also helps your soul, feel very lighter, and it raises the vibration.
okay. Can that sometimes explain things like species dysphoria or somebody not feeling like they're really a female, that they're really a male? I mean, is there something like that? Like, well, yeah, because when I was the
Yes,
yeah,
exactly. All those people, who cannot connect with their body, like those who feel like they are a male in the female body, or they are a female in a male's body. It's
yeah.
just that those impressions of being a man is so strong that you just cannot connect with your female body. So he's
Okay.
saying, Mom, you're bang on. This is the best example. He's saying, in fact, where impressions are concerned, because you would just not feel connected to your body. And he's saying, this is happening much more frequently, or it's much more prevalent right now, because we are not suppressing. The current generation, they
Yeah.
go all out to feel and experience. Initially, so many things were taboo, and our generation used to suppress a lot. They were
Oh,
so
yeah.
conditioned by the culture, by the parents, by upbringing. But today's generation, they have much more freedom of feeling and expressing, and that's why there's less suppression, and at least most of the generation, and they feel it. And when they feel it, they can feel the disconnect if the impression is opposite.
Is it some like a male may feel or I don't care. A male may feel like he's really a female. Maybe he had a horrible life as a male at one point or
No,
many points. Could that be why he doesn't want to, that he might not want to be a male?
no, using mom, it's all about impressions. So if the
Yeah.
impression, if the past, if a past lifetime where this particular person was a male, and that past lifetime is influencing this one very strongly, so the impressions of being a male are so strong, have
Okay.
been, it's not good or bad, it's just
No.
how the
Right.
impression. So
Okay.
if that impression gets activated through something, then you will feel that impression, and that will become your reality. And if that impression is opposite of what you're experiencing in your current physical reality, it will create that disconnect. But it's all about the impression, it's not about good or bad, or a bad lifetime or whatever. So if being a male is an impression, if you're a male, you are XYZ in your attitude, in your behavior, in your genes, in your hormones.
Right. Right.
So if you had a very good life where you connected with your male personality very strongly, and suddenly next lifetime you're a female, and you are carrying those impressions which are very strong, and
Yeah.
you didn't release those impressions of being a masculine, like you didn't express yourself so well, and you're holding on to those strong impressions of
Right.
being a male, those impressions get carried forward in this lifetime. And if you have chosen to be an opposite gender, it will create that discord between you, because you will feel like a male, because the
Right.
impression has been activated, and that particular impression is very strong. So you say,
Well,
Mom,
okay.
I'll give you an example. The phobias, the phobias which we go through when we say, oh, this is a past life phobia, what happens is, so he's giving an example, like if in a particular lifetime you drowned, okay, you drowned and you were killed, or maybe you drowned, you didn't get killed, but you come back in. No, because of that experience, there is an impression of fear from water which has been created,
Oh, yeah.
and it gets stored in your soul. And forget about that lifetime, then in this lifetime you're a baby, or you're a 4 or 5 year old, and the minute you set your foot into the water first time, if that impression was very strong, the impression created of fear for water, and if that impression gets activated,
Mm.
those are the children who hate water, who are scared of water.
Yeah.
Nobody has given them that reference, they are so young.
Right.
Some, you see, they are just like fishes, they are water babies, and they love
Yes.
water. And
Yeah.
some of them, they are just so scared.
Because of
These
that.
are impressions which we call phobias.
Yeah. Phobias.
Get
Okay,
activated.
but suppose you were a woman and you were hung during the Salem witch trials along with a whole bunch of other women, then you come back into this life as a woman. You might not feel comfortable being a woman because you were persecuted as a woman. You might
Yes.
then you
And
might
you
feel
will
like, well,
be
I really want to be a male. Does that ever happen?
you will be, let's just say, mom, you will be a female rights activist.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, okay, got it. It had nothing to do with gender. All right, I got it. Okay.
So this is how impressions really work. And if you realize what are our stronger impressions, so many times these impressions become a block. And if we realize that these are just impressions which are soul collected through our different experiences in different past lifetimes, we'll not let them be a block, and we can rise above them, because there are times where we create so many phobias in our mind because of our
Yeah.
past life impressions.
Okay.
We're not able to move forward. Like, if I'm not able to rise above the fear of what I may never be able to swim.
Yeah.
I will be able to get into the water. And that's how past life regression helps, because you go to that past life, you face that fear, you release that impression of the fear, and when you come back, it's gone.
Okay.
That's how past life regression works.
Right. Right.
So he's saying now,
Good.
anyways, let's come back to the topic. He's saying how much of our life is then planned. How do you know that whatever is happening with you is happening by your will and wish and your choice? He's saying most of it is planned. Your major relationships, your major interactions, the major intentions, the majority of time you are spending in which place, which geographical location, which country,
Right.
your family, so much of it is planned. And the universe cannot be random. He's saying, mom, reincarnation has a purpose. And if there's a purpose to a certain action, there definitely has to be planning. It cannot be random. And when there is planning, of course you can't plan everything, because in the physical universe not everything is in our control. But we'll definitely plan the major goal points and lampposts, that this is how we want our life to be. And whatever happens in the interim, the small random events or interactions or meetings or relationships, they will only serve the purpose of facilitating the majority of the major things that we have planned. So those
Okay.
can be random, but majority of it is what we have chosen. And you think, because people don't understand that, there is so much confusion about free will and destiny also. Like,
Yeah.
I have seen people asking questions as if like, if it's all about destiny, then why do I even put efforts?
Why do
And
I what?
why do we put efforts?
Oh, what?
If
Oh, yeah. Right. Got it. Got it. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and
Really.
if we have free will, how does destiny come into the picture? Why do we believe in destiny if free will exists? And actually, these both concepts are not contradictory, they are very interconnected. So
Okay.
he's saying this is where a lot of commotion and a lot of confusion takes place, because people just don't understand, should we follow the concept of destiny or should we follow the concept of free will, when these both are interconnected. So
Right.
he's showing me that destiny is just choosing major landmarks in our journey. So if I am coming on to a major point where I'm graduating from a college, so destiny is, I have given myself 5 options. Either I'll become an engineer, or I'll become a designer, or I'll be a doctor, and so on and so forth. So you
Right.
think free will means I will have the freedom to choose amongst these 5 options.
Yeah.
Beyond this, I don't have an option. So these 5 options become my destiny.
Okay.
And my free will is limited by destiny. According to my free will, I can choose only from these 5 options, not out of 100 other options which exist in our universe. So you
Okay.
think free will is a limited concept and destiny is a tight compartment, but they both work together. So
It kind of
I'm
reminds
just
me of bowling. You had the bumper guards on when, well, I need the bumper guards. And so the ball's going to eventually find its way and knock down this pin or that pin or no pins.
yeah.
Okay.
He's saying, Mom, the purpose is to understand how much of our own planning are we able to follow when we come back into the physical body, fighting all of those factors, which make it difficult for us. One is spiritual amnesia, second is emotions. There are so
Oh,
many permutations and combinations which affect us while we are in the body.
yeah.
Now, despite all of these factors, how much are we able to get in touch with our own soul and still make a choice which we chose for ourselves when we were in our original reality, in our original identity of a soul? You
Mm.
think that's where the success of any human life depends on. And
Okay.
more and more you are in tune with your soul, more and more you walk your path, you will fulfill your purpose here. Otherwise, there's nothing random. Isn't the very fact that we die and we even leave our physical bodies back here in this universe
Yeah.
clearly says that all we have to do is to realize that we are a soul.
Okay.
And we will realize we are a soul only if we live like a soul. And if we are living like a soul, we will definitely make choices which we gave ourselves when we were a soul.
Yes.
So I think many times people feel how come they can choose such difficult lifetimes? How come they can, sitting there choose such difficult relationships and abuse and everything? I think all I can say is if you are going through extreme situations at all levels where you feel you're targeted or you're marked and nothing is working out and you feel you have lost everything and how much ever efforts you're putting, it's just not working out, please understand that this is not what you planned. Somewhere along the way, you went off track, you went astray from your destined path,
Mm.
and you are walking a path now which you never chose. And hence, on that path, you will see nothing. Nothing will work out because you didn't choose this path. You
Ah.
give yourself four choices and you leave all those four choices and you take a side path. Now,
Oh.
you see, now these four paths, it's cause and effect. If you choose this path, all of these things will come to you. If you choose a second path, these things will come to you. Third, these things will come. So every choice has a path, and you have given yourself that. You've given yourself a lot of options. But when you're in the body, you're so much influenced by society, by conditionings, by emotions, by judgments, and you don't choose either of these four or five or maybe 10 paths, and you go on to a completely different path. You have chosen nothing, that path is empty. You will have nothing and nothing will work out. No relationship will work out, no career will work out. And because relationship and career will not work out, you won't have the money, you'll not be able to have good health, you won't have good
Mm.
support, and
Yeah.
everything will go for a toss. So if you're going through that kind of a situation, you just have to understand that somewhere you have gone off track. And he's saying just realizing that you've gone off track, begin that awareness itself is enough for a soul to, again take a U-turn and come back to one of these paths and start life again. We all have that option.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he's saying now again, when I say if you're going through a terrible time where there is no hope and at every level you're being attacked or targeted, don't confuse it with major karmic relationships or situations. Those
Right.
can also, mirror
Of
this
course.
kind of a situation. But then there is this thing, there is this distinction, this distance, difference between both of them. Here, there'll be just one lesson,
Oh.
which you're facing. Either you're facing a very difficult situation or you're facing a very difficult relationship. But
Mm.
rest of the things, when you work towards them, they will work out. They are good. And there's just one thing, it might be too extreme and it might trouble you a lot,
Yeah.
but the rest of the areas won't be so bad. When
Right.
you are at a point, but when you're at a point where nothing is working out and you feel completely lost, your relationships are not working, no money, no health, no family, everywhere you're being targeted, you have to understand that you have steered towards a path which you didn't choose as a soul. And that's why life has become so difficult. Life is not meant to be difficult. Life is very simple because that's how we planned it.
Okay.
See,
So, and I guess the free will of other people can knock us off our path. Like, say your parents intended to fund your college, but all of a sudden their company goes bankrupt, and all of a sudden you're not going to be able to go to college and hit those 4 different or 5 different career paths, etc. Right?
He's saying, Mom, yes, many times, the people or the relationships around us, they tend to make wrong choices for us. But our soul knows that. And so many times we give ourselves options, and it's at the end of the day, it still comes right back at us.
Okay.
How we fight it, because if it's destined that I will earn a certain amount of money, or I'll have this kind of good career, I will come there, I will have options. I have given different levels of options for myself. The planning, it takes into consideration so many of the risk factors, because we have lived so many lives, we know almost all of those things that can go wrong.
Yeah.
And also we don't give so much of freedom to others around us to decide the main point. Yes, parents are very important personalities in our lifetime, because so much that they do affect our life in so many
Of
ways.
course.
But
Yeah.
at the end of the day, Mom, he's saying, when you reach a point, it's all up to you. You can still turn your life around. So even if you are not educated, you will still be intelligent to go out there and make a mark for yourself, maybe not in the same way that you decided, but
I
in
got
some
you.
other way. The
Okay.
ways and the ways and the paths can be different, but the result is decided. It's up to you
Okay.
how you reach that result.
Okay. So, how can you find out if you've gone this long, nothing's working out, this is an empty path? How can you find out where you strayed and how to get back to that point?
So, what I do is, with people who come for channeling sessions, we just visit their Akashic reports, and we
Oh,
just, yeah, we just
oh,
visit it. So
perfect.
clear. It's so clear, the reports tell
Oh,
you the exact picture so clearly. They'll just tell you this is the point where you went wrong, and then everything started toppling over it.
oh, wow, that's
There's one,
awesome.
most of the times I've seen there's just one small choice, one wrong decision, one point
Amazing.
where they go astray. And then everything falls, once you correct that, everything falls into place.
Amazing.
So
Mm,
there is always help available, but how much are you aware? How much are you connected to your soul? How much are you thinking about your journey from higher perspective, and
yeah.
not getting caught in societal definitions, in power,
Yeah.
power fights and failure, success? All that is not important. What
Mm-mm.
is important is you're living your plan.
You have to have the 30,000 foot, perspective on things sometimes to
Yes,
get
many
clarity.
times. You think, in fact, most of the times, if any difficult, given difficult situations, if you look at it as a soul, you will almost always see the objective part of it. You will always see why your soul has planned it, or why your
Okay.
soul has attracted it. You think, Mom, even if my soul has not planned, and if I am creating a mistake, that mistake itself will create an opportunity or an event. I don't need to go up and plan it. The very
Okay.
reason that I have made a mistake here, it will automatically create an event or an interaction where I'll go through that lesson. And then again, it's up to me if I'm learning that lesson or not. So you
True.
think life is not only about balancing the karma. So many times while balancing the previous residual karma, we tend to create more karma by making mistakes which we are not supposed to make.
Yeah.
But then our soul is very intelligent. And if you have created that imbalance in the universe again brings you back to that point where it gives you an opportunity to correct that imbalance and learn from that mistake.
Okay.
So it's
Wow.
very automatic, it's not random, and everything is so much connected,
Yeah.
and
Of course, I mean, if you think about how beautiful sacred geometry is, everything is
yeah,
so structured and perfect and mathematical. And so, of course, it would stand to reason that our soul plan and all the intricacies of it um, are really beautifully sacred as well.
yeah, they're all synchronized. You think, if there was not planning, if all our plans were not synchronized, there would be no synchronicity, and you will see so many instances of synchronicity in your life, so
Yeah,
many times.
that's true. Okay.
Yeah, that's what synchronicity is. And those who are connected to their soul, those who are connected to their instincts, to their inner selves, they experience synchronicity, in their daily lives. If things just fall in place.
Okay.
And those who are connected to their essence, it's just there. And that's how they go through this forward movement, a very stable forward movement. And he's saying, on one right choice, and it'll help fall the other aspects of the soul plan so
Yeah.
very automatically in your path. And one wrong choice can disturb it all. But he's saying, even if you have made a wrong choice, nothing is lost. It's just coming back to your soul essence, getting in touch with your soul and your inner self, and you'll be able to see where you committed a mistake, and be able to see the solution also. I think
Okay.
nothing is lost. It's all so beautiful.
Oh, that's comforting.
Yeah, it's also beautifully designed. You
Yes.
might take a wrong path and you can come back and again finish that design. It's there for you. The puzzle is there for you.
Yeah.
Teasing, it's life is almost like a puzzle game, mom. When we are trying to fit in a puzzle, we are making a puzzle and you're trying to solve a puzzle. And you might feel lost somewhere in the middle, and suddenly things click and all the puzzle pieces fall together. But really depends on you, how much are you willing to work towards it? Are you giving up? Are you getting confused and frustrated in the middle?
Are you
How
just
did
leaving that 2,000 piece puzzle? Are you just leaving it on the coffee table and going by and, I'll get to it later. No, yeah, you have to work the puzzle.
Yeah. So you say most of it is planned.
Yeah.
Yes, this planning, we do tend to make this planning difficult by not understanding the essence of why it was planned, why it happened. But whenever it is happening, if you understand it at a basic level and you resolve it, it won't get difficult. We make it
Okay.
difficult. And then
Yeah.
we try and guess why, how can we choose such difficult situations or relationships? But it's not that. You look at it with a proper essence right at the basic level, it will remain simple, it will not get complicated.
Okay.
So he's saying, how much ever you feel your life is not worth it, or it's difficult, or it's extreme, you made it so. Otherwise the planning was quite simple. It has to be simple because your plan is connected and coordinated to so many other plans. It's all those
Oh
interconnected.
gosh, yeah.
It
Hence the
has
sacred
to be.
geometry. I could just
Yeah.
see all these beautiful lines and um I could just see the entire collective is just the beautiful interconnected puzzle.
Yeah,
That's
it
cool.
is. It is. And we are just one piece of that entire puzzle, mom. And if we find a right place in this puzzle and we walk into that place, into that slot, and boom, everything will fall into place.
All right, so how can they find, is there a specific page on your site where people can book a session for a
They
reading?
just have to book a channeling session with me.
Okay.
And of course, the intention of every session can be different. I'm doing Akashic readings, I'm doing healing, and I'm also doing soul plan readings. There's so much Eric brings
Oh
into
gosh, that's so everybody needs that. Everyone.
and
That is
it's
so
so
cool.
wonderful. During the sessions, he'll just come and talk to you, and you will just know what your actual problem is, and he'll give you the solution. You don't even need to ask the question. So the challenge sessions, they just flow.
Oh, that is awesome. And Eric's almost always a part of it?
Always, always.
Oh, goody. Oh, that's great, Eric.
He's
That's
my
cool.
he's my main guide, so he is always there.
That's awesome.
So he just wanted to bring in a fresh change, a fresh topic, because there were series of discussing over karma, and today he said we need a change and we need a fresh change, and that's why we discussed this. But again, coming back to
Awesome.
karma.
Awesome. So what's up for the next session?
So he's saying last time we understood how to recognize our lessons by getting in touch
Triggers.
with our karmic triggers.
Right,
And
right.
we have been very subjectively interacting with the viewers, and he wants to take it further. He's saying, now I want all those viewers to write about their extreme karmic phases they have gone through or currently they are going through. they can
Oh,
hide their they can hide their private details. We don't need details.
yeah, right.
If they want a solution, if they want to understand what is the karma involved, what are the lessons, what
Okay.
will help it resolve it, how do they know that the karma has been balanced? So, specific scenarios and instances, if the viewers can post in the comments of this video,
Okay.
next video, me and Eric would, choose as many as we could and explain those scenarios, explain the triggers, explain the lessons, and the karmic contract connected to it, which will help the viewers,
Yeah.
work real time on their karmic contracts.
Yeah, and I'm sure some person's situation and triggers will also resonate with so many others. So that's good. All right. Well, thank you. Thank you, Eric. I love you.
You say, Mom, I'm waiting for the comments. I don't care what you're going through. Just write it there and let me help.
Awesome. Thank you. And anyway, Renuka is at channelingspiritworld.com. I know you guys want to reading Soul Plan, Akashic Records, etc. So book it before she gets booked up for years. All right, love you guys. Be sure you subscribe and smash the notification button. Bye-bye.
Bye.